Coming to you live from Above Ground Studios. We're here live conversations with CJ Hilton, part 2. Um, First, I'd like to welcome you, CJ, to the cameras and to the people live and direct looking at you from your hometown in Baltimore. I want to start with question 1, which is how does it feel to be back in your hometown in Baltimore recording the second half of the LP, Cold Summer? And does it add anything to the creative process?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course it feels great to be home, recording the second part of my album. I recorded the first half in a lot of different places. I did some in Miami, I did some in LA, I did some in New York, you know what I'm saying? But it's definitely a blessing to be back home because it's a lot of family at home, you know what I mean? So it's good to have family around when I'm recording, and I always feel like when I come back home, it's real, it's reality, you know what I mean? So it's just good to come back home and get a reality check and then, just write about how I feel, what I see.
Exactly. Okay. Now, what did you feel you needed to say with this album? And what did you feel you needed to actually say that the album is done?
On this album, this is my first album, so it's really an introduction, so it's really about letting people know who I am and what I do, and I feel like what makes me different from, the rest of the artists out there. And I feel like at the end of the day, I like to have fun. I'm a 23-year-old guy, I love to have fun, but I definitely know how to prioritize, you know what I'm saying? I have my daughter, you know what I'm saying? I love spending time with my daughter, I love family, which you hear in my records, you know what I'm saying? I love to, create. I love to stay in the studio, which, I love to just, that's fun for me, being in the studio. So you hear a lot of, fun things in my records. And really, I just wanted people to know that I'm a 23-year-old guy with really soulful music, but it's still young at the same time. And it's still real music out there that can come from a young person.
Word. What would you say is the biggest misconception about CJ Hilton to date?
The biggest misconception about CJ Hilton, I think, is CJ Hilton only does soul music. I feel like a lot of people think because of my first 2 singles, one was So Fresh, the other was Cold Summer, which is my single right now. They're really soulful records. They're really mature records. So I feel like at the end of the day, a lot of people think that they're the only kind of records that I do.
Wow.
And that's what I'm doing right now, actually, in Baltimore. My album is actually turned in. You know what I'm saying? It's done. It's turned into the label. But I feel like it's not done yet. You know what I mean? Because I just feel like it's just one. It shows one side of CJ right now. You know what I mean? I'm a 23-year-old, young, soulful guy. You know what I'm saying? I love soulful music, but at the same time, I want people to know I'm 23 years old. I love to have fun. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we're doing right now. It's having fun. We're just in the studio, just vibing out. No pressure. You know what I'm saying? We're just here with family right now. We're just recording these records, getting the second half of the album done. It's turning out lovely right now.
Word. Making sure they don't miss the point.
Absolutely.
Okay, I can understand that. Were there any specific growing pains in making sure that your vision stayed true to where you are currently on your debut effort?
Definitely was a lot of growing pains. I don't know if you know, but I've been signed maybe about 3 or 4 times. This is my 4th time being signed actually now.
Word.
Signed,
we ain't know that. We didn't know that.
Yes. I was signed to Tommy Mottola at 13. Then I was signed to Capitol Records after that at 16. And then I was signed to a couple production companies in between that too. But now this is my 3rd major production deal, and I'm at RCA right now. So it's definitely been a lot of growing pains, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like right now, I could put out that my album was closed, my budget was closed. We spent a lot of money recording my album at RCA. You know what I'm saying? We spent about $1 million so far now. So, you know, it comes a time where you know that the budget closes. So now what we got to do is use our own money. You know what I'm saying? To my team, Charlie O, that's the name. I have a production company. And Charlie O is the name of the company. So what we're doing right now is using our own money. You know what I'm saying? Our own time. We're putting our own resources out there. And, you know, we doing the second half of this album. So, you know, this is our blood, sweat, and tears we putting into this music for sure. You know,
Or as it should be.
Absolutely.
You know, words to the wise to a lot of artists that may be watching this interview. You know, it takes that kind of commitment that you hear coming from C.J. Hilton to actually be in the business at this stage of the game.
Absolutely.
You know, so I want to congratulate you on understanding that.
Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, man, because a lot of young artists don't understand that. So going back to the soul aspect, I hear this term "young soul" used a lot by your people in reference to your sound on this LP and your sound in general. Do you feel that that's an accurate description of your vocal brand and artist approach?
Absolutely, 100%. You know, because like I said before, my music is very soulful. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I give my soul on my records. That's what I give. So my music is going to be soulful.
As you should.
But at the same time, I'm 23 years old. So it's coming from a young person. You know what I mean? So that's why we call it young soul. You know what I'm saying? We still having fun. We still, you know, doing some of the things that the young boys do. Of course, we're a little more mature because, you know, we you know, that's how we carry ourselves. You know,
right.
We're a little more thorough.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we still like to have fun, so that's what we call young soul.
Right.
You know?
Well, you know, just keep it in line with that. You know, like even like Stevie, like a lot of people look at Stevie now and understand him as a grown man and everything. And you know, like the greats, you know, like Marvin, you know, which you reference, you know what I mean, a lot. You know what I mean, you know, subliminally in your vocal approach, you know what I mean, which is a great thing. These guys were young when they first started making all the records that we know now as classic records. These guys weren't the age that they might be now, you know. Had some of them still been alive, and you know the age Stevie is now, and some of the other greats like Ronald Isley and certain stuff like that. When they was turning out them baby makers, they was young guys. You know what I mean? But that still didn't take away from the dexterity of their music. You know, so I was glad to hear that answer coming from you. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people need to hear, you know, understand that, you know, because you make organic music or music that's pure, it doesn't mean that, you know, you somewhere in some, you know, how you say it, neocentric or neo-soul box, you know?
Absolutely not.
Word. So I'm glad we got that across.
Yes, sir.
What are some of the standout cuts people should be checking for on this LP?
Oh man, we got a lot of great records. I think that great records. We got Cold Summer, of course, which is my single right now, my current single. We got a record called Faded, which we just did in Miami, which is a great, incredible record. Actually, a great friend of mine, you know what I mean? He's like an uncle to me, Grammy nominated writer, Robert E.S.T. Weiler, E.S.T. He helped me write this record, and it's a very, very, very incredible record, I think. You know what I mean? Because it's just real. You know, we've all been intoxicated before, I guess. You know what I'm saying? We drink. You know what I mean? We have fun. So this record right now, and it's not just about. When I wrote it, it was about being faded. You know what I'm saying? I was intoxicated. I was out having fun at a party, and the way I felt at that time, I wanted to write about being faded, how I felt. But you know, the record could be interpreted in so many different ways. You know what I mean? But it's a great record. We got Swags in the building. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, I feel like at the end of the day, you know, they love my swag. You know what I'm saying? They like how I carry myself. So you know, when I step in the building, Swag is in the building. So we wrote a record called Swag is in the building.
Right.
What's another great record? I feel like all my records are dope.